Welcome to the Tricord Advisors podcast, where we answer life's hard questions to help you make smart decisions with your money. I'm Jeremiah Lee, and this is Randy Barkley. We're both certified financial planners. I'm also a California licensed attorney. Welcome back. We've been talking about investment advisors and how the industry has gotten to where it is. We're going to kind of continue that conversation. So we were just talking about robo-advisors and kind of the value or where they sit. Well, a lot of folks who are looking for a relationship, they're looking for someone to guide them through this. And that's where you get into, investment advisors or wealth managers. And they're very similar. A lot of it, the difference is a wealth manager is a little more holistic and they try and wrap their arms. And for what we do, we consider ourselves wealth managers. We try and wrap our arms around our client. My background being an attorney, we're able to add that aspect to it. There's a number of firms that add, tax prep or other items to say, hey, we want to be holistic with your life.
And there's several key items that we want to talk about with a client. Investing is just one sleeve.
Yeah.
There's all these other aspects that are involved with a client's financial life that we want to make sure that it's being taken care of. And I think from our perspective is that if a client can do that on their own, great. We're not trying to step in front of their ability to do that. But we find that the people that reach out to us are people that, first of all, they don't have the time or they don't have the inclination, and they just feel like they don't have the capacity to make all the correct decisions for themselves.
Yeah, and some of that is knowledge. I talked with many clients that when you Google things, should I contribute to a Roth IRA? Right. It's not that you get nothing back. You get a massive tidal wave of information.
The amount of information.
And how much of it applies to you? Is your situation different from here? Right. All those questions. So there's the aspect of personal finance has a lot of noise, I would say, a lot of noise in that space that may not apply to you. And then we have other clients who are very bright. They could figure it out. They could know all this stuff, but they're doing stuff. Their time is better spent, say they're a surgeon, they're better spent, focusing on being excellent at what they do and not, halfway through a surgery, be like, oh, I got an alert. I need to go trade Google because
right.
to be in that space. So there's the they got the time to do it or the effort, and then also just the headspace. I mean, I love it when you get clients that they're checking their accounts every day, maybe every week, and then some will get to more of like once a quarter. That they have let go of that responsibility, let go of that the concern. And when we have our regular meetings with them, we talk through all the nuts and bolts, and they can leave knowing that someone's at the wheel. That they're not going to get caught, unexpecting something. And so because of that, they're able to live their life in whether that's, adventuring and doing fun things, whether it's just working, but they're able to kind of outsource that.
So I think, again, what we do for clients is try to cut through all the, like you say, the noise. It's if you go onto Google right now, it's when you have a medical condition, doctors always kind of say, stay off of Google. Because Google will give you so much information, right. And a lot of it is probably not going to be the best information for you to make a decision about your condition.
Yeah.
We have the same issue with the financial. When you go in and start typing in whatever, you get this tidal wave of information, and the question is who do you follow? And there's a lot of apps, there's a lot of actors out there that I would say are influencers that try to lean you towards something. And a lot of that is not really going to be in your best interest.
And some of it, when you think about actual influencers, the majority of those are pushing a product or a service or something. So you have that, separate agenda anyways. But then people who are generally there to educate, a lot of people go to YouTube, a lot of people go to Reddit, a number of other services to get information. But it's kind of like you were saying, the medical aspect of, I found a blog somewhere where someone had the same thing and it turned out to be whatever,
and not a good outcome,
right? And then they rushed to the doctor,
or it was such a positive outcome, everybody rushed into it. I listen to the television, all the pharmaceutical, but then you look at all of the vitamins and minerals and everything you're supposed to take, and of course all the testimonies that come through the television at you. Man, this changed my life. This thing I put on my leg, it's amazing. And my whole life is different now.
Yeah, whether that's through, TikTok or Instagram or Twitter, it's the same stuff, the same content coming through. It's just different age groups. And how much of that do you believe? And I think a big part of it too is finding a trusted advisor, like people who find a really good doctor that they trust and they feel like is listening and gets them. They value that relationship. Similar to people who find a financial advisor who listens to them, who understands what they're looking to accomplish, understands what they're concerned about, and can help them find a path through, is so valuable. And I think that's the value there. It's the personal relationship, it's the knowledge, and in my mind, it's the holistic approach. Part of me coming in working in finance is that legal and finance relate so often.
Right.
They're just
Right.
intertwined, and there's value there as we connect through.
So again, I think going back to it, is there's a lot of resources out there for somebody to, again, you can just type in Google whatever you want, and you're
Yeah.
going to be overwhelmed with information. The question is how do you sort that out, and how do you know that the information that you're getting is trustworthy? And then the next one is, if you make a selection in this area, will it benefit you?
Yeah.
And oftentimes there's more to it than just that initial information that you get, right?
Yep. And even if you made a good choice initially, I think I mean we've talked before, but there's phishing scams, there is cryptocurrency pump and dump, and all this
Right.
stuff going on. So you have to be careful of the bad actors who are looking to swindle people. Then you just have people who are looking to promote content and build a brand or to share information. And does that apply to you? I think the piece that even if you make great choices, you listen to the good people, it's similar to water cooler talk. The guy at work who said, you got to do this. You listen to that and you make a good activity, you make a good choice. One, they don't always share their failures. They share the winners. So you get a little skewed view, just like all social media, you get a little skewed view. And the next is the maintenance or the monitoring, I feel. We have people who set something up years ago. I see this a lot with trust. They did a great trust, and it has been 15 years since they even thought of it. When they open it up again, they realize, I don't talk to that person anymore. This person moved away. That kid, wow, I was going to give him the money. I would never do that.
Right.
And life just changes. So that's another, I think, piece of this whole conversation is even if you take the time, you focus, you figure it out, you do it, your life from that moment forward continues to change. And what you selected for your investments, the way you structured your retirement, all that may or may not be accurate.
Yeah, and again, when you're 35 years of age, the kind of investments that you make are going to be different than the investments that you make when you were 60 or 65 years of age. So as you approach that, closer to that retirement date, or the date when we call it, when you start to, you're accumulating money, you're accumulating assets over that period of time, but then all of a sudden you're approaching that time where you're going to start to decumulate. You're going to start taking income out of those holdings.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a pension, you're going to get Social Security, whatever. But whatever this basket of money that you've accumulated, you're now going to start taking income out of it. How do you manage it? Is it going to be different than when you started 30 years before?
Yeah.
And of course, we believe there is. We think that there's a tactical aspect of how you manage your money when you enter into that phase of your life.
Yeah. We had a client just this last week that was talking about as they move into a phase of taking money out of their portfolios. They said, well, aren't we going to be cutting into principal? Isn't this what we're doing? And he says, well, investments previously were for growth. And so you weren't really generating many dividends. Whereas when we retool a portfolio for income, you have dividend producing stocks. And so now it's naturally throwing off a certain level of income. And, it just kind of, that makes sense. I get it. But they had not thought about it. They were going to just start selling their stocks and having to take out a principal to fund their life.
Yeah, and I think also we need to illustrate to every client is that the risk that you took on earlier in your age is going to be different than the risk that you're going to take as you step into retirement.
That's right.
And there's a lot of conversation about that, but just generally speaking, you don't want to have a portfolio that is subject to a lot of volatility, particularly when you have a larger amount. Emotionally, most clients can't ride through that.
Yeah.
They know that they're invested in things that are going to have some variance in pricing because that's just the market.
Yeah.
But most people don't really want to stomach a roller coaster ride when they're stepping into retirement, right?
That's right. It's an interesting landscape. And I think for folks to find an advisor or do it themselves, either way. But the world we find ourselves in is that we've moved from company responsibility to individual freedom to fail, freedom to thrive.
Right.
And to say to either do it on your own or find someone who can come alongside you in that. So we'll be finished for today. We're going through a series of financial planning and kind of talking through all the different elements of the stuff that we do. So some of it's retirement planning, some of it's insurance planning, estate planning. We'll probably get to family meetings and what those look like. But we're going to take a series and kind of walk through those in the coming weeks. So if you miss any of these episodes, you can find us on YouTube. We're there. We broadcast on the radio as well. If you have any questions or comments or things you'd like us to really touch on, you can leave it below in the comments if it's here on YouTube, or if you're hearing us on the radio, you can call into our office. It's 951-684-7011.
Until next week, folks, may you grow in wisdom and knowledge. Thank you for listening.